Welcome to GaryClarke Tech. This is a crash course on the API platform. The goal of this course is to get you to such a level of understanding that you're able to start creating your own APIs quickly. So what is the API platform and why should me and you use it? It's a framework which is dedicated to API-driven or Jamstack projects. It's open source and it's written in PHP at its core, and so that's the language that me and you are going to be programming in this course. It supports industry-leading standards such as JSON-LD, Hydra and Open API. If those names don't mean anything to you at the moment, that's fine. All will be explained as the course progresses. Its distribution includes a Symfony Framework, so you get to benefit from well-known components. If you haven't used it before, I think you'd be quite surprised at just how quickly we get up and running with a working API. So let's get started. Installation. There are two ways to install this. There's a Docker installation, which actually, according to the documentation, is the recommended way of installing this. However, we're not going to do that. We're actually going to do a Symfony install first and then install the API project on top of our Symfony Framework installation. The reason why I'm doing that is because not all of the students that follow my channel actually use Docker or are comfortable with Docker, and if things go wrong with Docker then we'll end up getting sidetracked and dealing with other things. I just wanted to stay focused on the API platform, which you can do by installing it the way that we're going to do it. So that's going to be using Composer. Here is the command: Composer create project, and then it's Symfony/skeleton, and then I'm calling mine products API. So the API we're going to build is going to be like a manufacturer and products thing. And so let's actually go and run this in our terminal. I'll just bump up this font here a bit. I'll paste that in there, and so that should go and create me a Symfony skeleton project. So we're not done yet. On top of that, we're going to need to require the API project. So first off, let's cd into that. So cd products API, and then I'm going to composer require API. Okay, so this is using Symfony Flex. That's why it's able to just say require API, and it doesn't have to say API project API or anything like that. If you've watched any of my other Symfony videos, then Symfony Flex is explained in those. So composer require API. This will go and get API platform API pack. I think that's what it's called. Yep. Okay, and then it'll ask you some questions. So it's saying, do you want to include Docker configuration from recipes? And I'm just going to click X, which means no permanently. Don't ask or never ask again for this project, because we don't need that. This is just a learning project. Okay, and it's just going to finish off its installation now. I'm now going to go and open that project in PHP Storm. So open. Okay, and so here we are. We have a Symfony project with the API platform installed inside of that project. Let's go and look at our Composer JSON file, and so here you should see everything should look the same for you as what it does for me. So we have API platform core there has been installed. The only change I've made to this is I've actually created a little notes file, which was the notes that you saw on my screen. First thing I'm going to do is configure my database. So I'm using MySQL, which is my local installation. However, if you're using Postgres or something else, some other relational database, that's fine. To follow this tutorial, that will work just fine also. So what we need to do is go over to our .env file, which is this one here, and it's in the project root. If we go and have a look at this here, you should see a database URL already in here. I'm just going to replace it with the one we've got here. And so let me talk you through this. I'm using MySQL. The user is called root. I'm not specifying a password. This is my host, so localhost, port 3306, and the database will be called products API. That database hasn't been created yet. That's going to be the next step actually. So let's go and grab this command here, which is bin console doctrine database create. So when we installed everything there, we've installed doctrine ORM, which means we can run doctrine commands, and under the hood for persistence, for persisting our resources, we're actually going to be using doctrine. Okay, let's go and run this. And it's telling me created database products API. Let's go and check that to make sure that that has actually happened. So I'm using a tool called Table Plus. You use whatever you want. what do we call it? Products API. So let's have a look. Products API. Let's open this. Okay, and here we have a Products API database. As you can see, we don't have any tables yet or anything like that. We have literally an empty database. And then this final setup step is to actually just start up a local server. And so grab this command here, we'll paste that in there, which is php uppercase S localhost 8000, and we're saying that directory that we want to serve it from is our public directory. So let's hit this and we'll go and grab this, paste it into the browser, and then what we need to append onto there if we're using the composer install is /API, hit go. And so what you should see is this, and believe it or not, this is actually a user interface where we can interact with our products API. At the moment we don't actually have anything that we can interact with because we haven't created any resources. So what you will see is this, not operations defined in the spec. But what we're going to do in the next one is we're actually going to start creating resources, and then we'll be able to interact with our API properly.